Hey everybody, this is Mike, and I'm from Tampa, Florida, and I'm back with you today to share a few of my hobbies and interests that I find enjoyable. And this also might give you a little bit of a glimpse into who I am and how I like to pass the time. So I'll start with traveling. This is a cup from Berlin, Germany. I got that about a year and a half ago, and it was a very interesting experience. I went over there with some friends that played football, and it really opened my eyes as to how huge the world really is, and that there's a lot more going on than what's just going on in your circle. And some of the similarities of places in other parts of the world. That's just one of the few places that I've been, but it was one of the longest trips that I had out of the country. So I got a chance to indulge in some amazing cultures. It kind of reminded me of New York in a sense that it was a melting pot of different foods and beer and just a lot of different cultures just blending in together and having a good time. So that's it for that one. That's going to take me into my next thing here, which this is a lens for my telescope. And I can't bring the telescope over here because it's way too big. But space and astronomy is something that has piqued my interest in the recently, and it's something that I find enjoyable. It's very peaceful. You can sit out in your backyard with a telescope and just kind of take a trip without even having to go anywhere, or even in your front yard. Sometimes I often get some looks, but because I'm not the typical person that they would see with a telescope, but it is something that I find enjoyable. There's always some new discoveries, something else being found out there, and it's just nice to take a little bit of a look at, or a glimpse at creation, and it really shows us how small this world really is compared to what's out beyond it. Um, and there's a lot out there. So that's all I'll say on that, and then I'll get to my last object or hobby, which is tools. Be careful to place that back down. Um, Tools are something that I grew up with, and it's something that really played a major part in my life, kept me out of trouble, and so on. I've always been the type of person or a child growing up that took things apart, put them back together. I wanted to see how things worked. So that was a very big piece of my life growing up, and I feel like it's transferred into my work life, my grown up life, I should say, where I'm currently involved in boilers and chillers, which are very intricate, specialized pieces of equipment, very touchy. So that's something that I've just recently got into, but I come from a background of utilities, which I worked in for about 12 years. I'm 30 now, by the way. So um, this is something that stuck with me for a while, and I think it really built up character, and it allowed me to get involved in a lot of different pieces of equipment there, camera trucks, vac trucks, and so on, that most people don't get a chance to get their hands on. And a lot of people don't know the importance of utilities in their local neighborhoods and cities and streets. So I'm glad to have that underneath my belt. So that's a little bit about me. I'm looking forward to your comments and your words of advice, and I hope you all have a good weekend.